They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Donald Trump declaring his candidacy for the presidency a couple of weeks ago with some tough talk about Mexican illegals. Now, those comments have sparked outrage from several groups and companies. The latest, PGA of America and Trump, apparently by mutual decision, deciding not to hold the 2015 Grand Slam of golf on Trump's Los Angeles course. So now that is the latest development in this reaction to what Donald Trump had to say. The Donald says he's lost a lot, but he says he's sticking to what he said, and he's right about Mexico. Let's begin this part of our program with Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor and author of the book Terror Tunnels, The Case for Israel's Just War Against Hamas. Alan joins us from Martha's Vineyard. So, Alan, we know you as a great advocate for free speech. Are we getting into some dangerous ground because Trump is saying things he happens to believe, that the politically correct are striking back at him and costing him money and exacting a price from him?
Well, as long as the government doesn't exact the price and doesn't put its thumb on the scale of free speech, there are no really serious constitutional problems. Look, Trump is dead wrong. What he said was said about Irish immigrants, it was said about Italian immigrants, Greek immigrants, it was said about Asian immigrants, it was said about Jewish immigrants, it has been said about every immigrant group. And we have to remember that we're a nation of immigrants. And we're not only a nation of immigrants, we're a nation of illegal immigrants. A lot of our best and most productive people have come in under at least some questionable circumstances.
Now, this is very interesting, Alan, because you understand, you're a Juris Doctor, you're a law professor, and now you're willing to give the huge benefit of the doubt historically and right now to people who break our laws.
Right. My grandfather in 1939 helped bring in 29 of our family from Brno, Czechoslovakia, using perjured affidavits, making them all into rabbis and who knows what else, in order to bring them in and save them from the Holocaust. And
but that is a huge difference, Alan. That is a huge difference from bringing in people across the border illegally for their own convenience.
Well, it's not only a matter of their convenience, it's often a matter of life and death. Look, I'm not in favor of illegal immigration, but I am in favor of some sympathy toward people who have come to this country under those circumstances. So I'm totally against what Trump has been saying, but I'm totally supportive of his right to say it. And I'm not comfortable when large corporations impose sanctions on him for expressing his freedom of speech. I do take the Voltaire view. I oppose what you're saying, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And that's my view about Donald Trump. I'd love to debate him on these issues. I think he's dead wrong, but I don't think that we should be threatening, as Mayor de Blasio of New York is threatening, to take away government contracts. That would be illegal. It would put the heavy thumb of government on the scale of free speech and on the marketplace of free speech. If you don't like what Trump is saying, don't vote for him, reject his ideas, but don't punish him.
All right. Boy, I'd love to have the debate, but that's not my role here right now. It's to be the moderator. And let's turn to another topic making headlines. This Iran deal negotiation, the deadline extended again. Let's bring in Colonel Patrick Murray, retired from the U.S. Army. He worked with General David Petraeus during the siege. He joins us from Newsmax, Washington. 2.5 minutes remain, Patrick. What do extensions in your mind say about the current state of negotiations?
JD, the Obama administration is not known for its ability to negotiate. Bo Bergdahl comes to mind. But this is even bad by Obama administration standards. And what's happening is the Iranians are flooding the zone with new demands right here at the 11th hour. And what that tells me as a former arms control negotiator, that they're getting concessions. Every time the Obama administration makes a concession, whether it's on inspecting Iranian military sites or establishing a baseline for their nuclear infrastructure, Iran just pockets that and pivots to something else. This is not going to end well.
Well, mindful of that, Alan Dershowitz, you've been involved in many negotiations. Was the president absent from negotiations and classes on that at Harvard Law School? What gives in this situation?
If there were a Nobel Prize for the worst negotiation in history, I think this one would win it. I think this is the worst negotiation that I'm aware of in the history of the United States. We telegraphed right from the beginning that we needed this deal more than Iran did. We telegraphed that we would take a deal even if it were a bad deal. We telegraphed that we would take the military option off the table. We telegraphed that we would be soft on sanctions. It was the worst negotiation imaginable. I mean, if President Obama or John Kerry, both of whom I know and like personally, if they had taken a course from me in negotiations, even with great inflation at Harvard, they would not have made it to the D level. They would be lower than the D level, maybe D minus or charity fail plus. But this is the worst negotiation I have ever seen in American history.
Colonel, we just heard the good professor give it a letter grade close to an F. In the 30 seconds that remain, I just wonder this: is there any humiliation that will finally stop what seems to be madness in setting up this deal with Iran?
This is about Obama legacy, and it's going to go down. I mean, Obama's own people, his former negotiators, just issued an open letter last week, and the money line from that letter is that this agreement will not stop Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. I mean, that's the bottom line, JD, but this is going to happen, I believe, and we're going to have to deal with the fallout of a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, further threats to Iran, and everything else. It is not going to be, it's not going to end well.
We will have to leave it there. Patrick Murray in Washington, Alan Dershowitz from Martha's Vineyard. Gentlemen, you have our thanks, and Newsmax Prime will be back.